A nationwide manhunt is underway to catch this man.
This is the police's suspect, 35-year-old Abdul Shakur Azidi, now the subject of a nationwide manhunt.
Police are still looking for Abdul Azidi, the man suspected of seriously injuring a mother and her daughters by throwing a corrosive chemical at them.
An attack with a powerful chemical on the streets of southwest London, caught on CCTV. This video shows a man running around a car before getting into the driver's seat. In the headlights, a woman and a child raise their hands to their faces. The man then charges the car towards them, knocking the woman to the ground. The vehicle stops abruptly and the driver gets out. He opens the back door. He appears to then take a child from the back seat and then throws her to the ground.
What is so disturbing about the story is the details of the harm he inflicted on the two little girls, particularly the 3-year-old who was flung to the floor, according to witnesses. Repeatedly, didn't even move, so that one of the witnesses thought she was dead and then said, "I want my mum." You know, I can feel myself getting emotional just thinking about it with my own daughter.
The 31-year-old woman and her daughters, who are 8 and 3 years old, are still in hospital. Injuries she and her toddler suffered are said to be life-changing. Meanwhile, the man behind the horror is still on the run.
He was last seen at a Tesco store in North London on Wednesday evening with quite severe injuries to his right eye and side of his face. It's now emerged that Azidi was a convicted sex offender in 2018. He was later granted asylum.
He is an Afghan refugee. He was granted, he was turned down for asylum twice before he finally was granted it, and he arrived illegally in this country on the back of a lorry. He has also been convicted of a sexual assault exposure offence 2 years after he arrived.
Who, it has to be said, is sex-offending criminal dross and quite simply should not have been in this country. To claim to have converted to Christianity, well, whilst I'm no great theologian, in fact no theologian of any description whatsoever, I've never come across a part of Christianity that sanctions or otherwise authorises the throwing of corrosive substances over women and children.
But you're right to raise the conversion to Christianity. This is actually a very common theme in bogus asylum applications. People might remember, do you remember that horrific attempt to bomb the maternity ward in Liverpool? So Ahmad al-Swilman also did a fake conversion to Christianity. It was found later on that he was still a practicing Muslim, because what asylum seekers can claim to the authorities is they'll say, well, I will be persecuted as a Christian if I'm sent back. They've never showed any inclination to be Christian before.
If you see him, I plead to not approach him. He's a 90, call 999. He has significant injuries to the right side of his face.
Yes, and those injuries might need medical attention. So I sincerely hope that last night and this morning, every member of security staff at every hospital and everybody else at any kind of medical facility has been shown the pictures and are aware of who he is, so that they can, as per the police advice, dial 999 if anybody sees this man. He is clearly dangerous and not to be approached.
Nikki said, I think the question on a lot of people's minds is, why is this man in this country?
Correct. And that is the headline. So it says chemical attacker was failed asylum seeker. Here we are again, aren't we?
Yeah.
So this man, as you rightly say, came here from Afghanistan on the back of a lorry, underneath a lorry or whatever, came into this country, then obviously, as we know, committed a sexual offence, was turned down for asylum twice. Then he said, oh, I've converted to Christianity and allowed to stay in this country. And that goes back to a much bigger issue. Absolutely. What is he doing in this country?
There could be others assisting him. Generally speaking, a fugitive has a far greater chance of staying at large if they've got a support network. But of course, any support network, anybody that lends this man any assistance whatsoever could find themselves staring down the barrel of a significant jail sentence if they're convicted of assisting an offender, perverting the course of justice. A whole raft of legislation covers those circumstances. So if you know where he is, there is one thing and one thing only to do, and that is pick up the phone and dial 999.